Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. On Google, stock is down 1.55%, and Google now trading below this critical resistance right here, 196 to 197, and trading below 5-day moving average, also underneath 195.53. So Google here, guys. One thing I want to point out: if we cannot get a bounce early this week, early as tomorrow, Monday morning, over 196, expect Google to come back all the way down to, I would say, 20-day moving average. That's going to be your next critical support, 187 and then 184. To the upside, there will be strong resistance right here between 196 to 197. And if we can clear all that 5-day moving average and this resistance right here, then watch out for a move up to 200 and over 200. That's going to be a big breakout, and possibly from there we might see another fresh new all-time high on Google, but that's not in play as of right now. We will see how that goes going into tomorrow's session. On AMD, it's absolutely flat on the day. As a matter of fact, slightly green on the day. Now, everything else took a beating, but AMD here came down to 122, held as a support right here, and then went back up, and now it's over 125. So that is looking good, but also keep that in mind. We kind of formed this bottom here with this hammer candle, and now if this thing does not take out this low down here, we might see continuation to the upside on AMD. It's not completely out of the woods here. We're still on a downtrend, daily downtrend. So, AMD has a lot more work to do if this thing is going to get out of this downtrend. So watch out, 125. That is going to be your line in the sand for tomorrow's session, Monday. Over that, we can actually make a move up to this 20-day moving average, 130. And once we get over that level, we can possibly have this gap that actually going to get filled just underneath 138. To the downside, 125 gives up, strong support at 122, and if that's gone also, then free fall down to 118, and from there we might be making a new low, and that means what? Taking out this low down here, 118. Netflix going down 1.80%, and it's barely holding this 904 level here, just closing at 907, but it's still down on the day, almost 2%. So Netflix, yes, we got the breakout. It's trying to hold this breakout. If this thing breaks under 904, you're going to see a quick flash down to lower Bollinger Band, 886, and from there, it can come down much lower, all the way down to 50-day moving average right here, and that is at 846 and then 842. To the upside, only thing we need right here on Netflix, a breakout over these moving averages, and that is why I would say it's 916. If we can get over 916, and you can see it was there on Friday, opened at 916, got up to 918, but did not hold. We got a lot of sell pressure and then came back. So we need to get over 916, and if that happens, we will see continuation to the upside right here on Netflix, back up to 936. And over that, that's going to be a big breakout here on Netflix. On Microsoft, is down 1.73%. So we got a gap down here on Microsoft right here. There is a gap at 437-ish almost right here. And this thing now trading below these moving averages, and it was holding, barely holding on Friday's session. It actually came all the way down to 426, went back up, and now trading over this 50-day moving average, which is sitting at 428. So that is going to be your key line in the sand, 428. And then we also have support, and that's going to be lower Bollinger Band down here at 424. And if that gives up, 420. To the upside, there is the possibility to set up a lower high and possibly fill this gap at 436.63. So watch out for that. That can act as a resistance right here on a big rally. If that happens going into tomorrow's session right here, 436, that is like what, $6-7 move to the upside, and it can happen. We can completely reverse this, and this thing can possibly go up and fill this gap. But watch out, we do have 20-day moving average sitting at 440. Underneath that, we also have gap filled right here, 436.63. So that is going to act as a strong resistance right here on Microsoft. If we cannot clear all that, you're going to see a dump off back down to 428, 424, and then 420. If we can clear all that and possibly can trade over 440 and also get that breakout over 443, in that case it's gonna look more bullish for a move back up to 451. As of right now, it's not looking too good, and you can see we actually made a new low here. This was the low, this was the higher low. We made a new low down here on Friday, coming all the way down to 426. On Amazon, stock is down 1.45%. So we talked about it in my video, in my last video, that a lot of people are chasing calls and it's not worth holding. And even the thumbnail says chaos will erupt. And what do you know? We got that right away on Friday. That rug pull that actually took place just after Christmas. So yes, Santa did not show up, and hopefully he shows up tomorrow and into New Year. Otherwise, this pullback can lead to a bigger pullback. So, at this point, near all-time highs, holding calls, it's a no-brainer, but it's your money. And if you guys like holding calls at all-time highs, I mean, that is totally up to you. But I would not go and chase something like Amazon or even Tesla. There is nothing out there. If you look at all the big names, we cannot chase anything. Everything is pretty much up near all-time highs or close to all-time highs, and some of them still hitting all-time highs. So Amazon here, gap down. Yes, possibly we can go back up to close this gap right here just below 227, and that's going to act as a resistance right here on Amazon. Only if we can clear that, then watch out for 230. Now, if you look at my screen, it's barely holding on to this 20-day moving average, this white line, 223.67. If that gives up going into Monday's session, you're going to see a dump off easily down to 216, and then this gap comes into play at 214, and not to mention this gap down here, 208. On Meta, it's down just over 0.5%. So Meta came all the way down to 589. But if you look at my screen, guys, I mean, bulls, they're doing everything to hold on to this trend line right here, the breakout point right here near 598 to 600. And so far, I mean, back to back, we're just holding that level. So if this thing gives up and gets under 598 to 600, there might be more pain here on Meta, where this thing can come down to 587, 50-day moving average, and then retest lower Bollinger Band as a support 578. And if that gives up, you're likely to see a bigger dump off down to 558, 551, and then this gap comes into play just under 545. To the upside, there will be strong resistance right here on Meta, 609, I would say, 20-day moving average. If we can get over that, 615, and once we get over all these levels, then we can talk about more upside on Meta. As of right now, it's not looking, too good here. Just coming back and forth, back down to this support, because every time you hit a big level of support, and if you're hitting it multiple times on a stock like Meta, if it's hitting it every time, it's likely that it might just break at one point. And if that happens, we already had a massive run here on Meta from $88 up to 638, and I think we can afford a pullback where this thing gives up at least 50 to 100, maybe $150 to the downside, if that is actually going to play out in next few days. On Apple, stock is down 1.32%. So Apple puts, unfortunately, I took, and you guys saw that play right here. I took Apple puts, and this thing got decimated on Friday. Came down to 253, and then went back up and trying to hold this 5-day moving average, but not quite over 256.51. So that's gonna act as a resistance going into tomorrow. 256.51. Over that, you'll see 260. And if this thing cannot break 256.51, then watch out. We might be pulling back down to 13-day moving average right here, 252, 250, and then 20-day moving average 248. On a big pullback, if there is one like this pullback or even this pullback right here, and this thing takes out 20-day moving average, in that case, we might be pulling back all the way down to 237 to retest previous all-time highs as a support and the breakout here that took place just a couple months ago. On Tesla, stock is down near 5%. So we talked about it in my video the last one I made, that Tesla and even with Amazon, that these are the stocks we cannot chase at this moment near all-time highs where these things are running really high, because one big pullback and guess what? Your position will be underwater and you already bought at the top. So there is no way of averaging down and trying to get out of it. You're gonna have to take a loss. And you can see what happened exactly on Friday, big gap down 20, almost 20, 20 to $23 on the day. Now, what's interesting, we got a gap down, so maybe we get to see this gap getting filled this week before more dump off. So this thing can hold 429 and can get over these moving averages right here, 440, then there is a play up to 451. That is a $20 move to the upside if Tesla remains here near 431 going into tomorrow's session. Now, 429 gives up. In that case, Tesla will land right here on this rising 20-day moving average white line, 413, and below that 400. So Tesla, there might be a play here, but you got to be really, careful playing Tesla here, buying that dip here at 429, and possibly when Tesla goes back up to close this gap near 451, get out right here. That is a $20 move. So it's not a bad trade, but you got to manage your risk right here on Tesla. But if this thing opens under 429, there is no play until this thing touches 413 20-day moving average right here on this daily time frame. On Nvidia, stock is down just over 2%, but at the end of the day, it's holding this breakout and holding the level right here, 136. So that is going to be a big level to watch going into tomorrow's session and this week. If we open and we stay under 136, in that case, you will know that this was a fake breakout and now it's pulling back. It will likely to come down and take out these lows down here, like 130 to 126. And if that's out, game over, guys. This head and shoulder pattern can also play out, and this thing can dump all the way down to 107. Now, also, there is a play to the upside because we do have a close over 136, and that is just a retest of the breakout. So technically, it's still looking bullish as long as you're over 136. If that can hold tomorrow and this week, we get a move over this high here, which is like 142-ish. If that happens, we're heading higher back up to 144 and then even 150 on Nvidia. So it's really simple to read this thing right here. Below 136, I would not be buying Nvidia. Over 136, there is a chance this thing can go back up to at least 144, 150, or maybe even all-time highs again. Now, once we get under 136, things changes and this thing can possibly come down and take out these lows down here. So you just got to be careful if you're trading Nvidia, and that is all that matters on Nvidia stock going into next week. So that's all I have for you guys in this video, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated going into Monday's session.